Hello, gorgeous. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. No, I have not turned into a rich and famous entitled YouTuber on the second video. This is going to be a video honoring the incomparable, the fantastic, the amazing, the talented, the beautiful, the ageless Barbra Streisand. And I am recreating her look from the opening scene of the movie Funny Girl that she won the Best Actress Oscar for. And it's an amazing movie, and it really catapulted her to superstardom, put her on the map, and it has some incredible music in it, and some of the music we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to take this coat off because it kind of smells. Okay. Well, I'm going to be breaking down my 3 favorite Barbra Streisand videos for you. We're going to talk about what makes her such a charismatic performer and why her voice is one of the best musical jazz pop crossover voices probably ever. And then I'm going to record a version of People that hopefully you guys are going to enjoy.
Okay, so the first video that we're going to be talking about is My Man from Funny Girl. It's the closing number of the movie. This particular recording is a live version. I think it was filmed in London. And I must have seen this video probably about 50 times. I just watched it about 5 times in preparation for this video. So I'm not going to just fangirl over it because that's not any use to you. What I want to think about is what makes it so good and how can we take little tips and things that she's doing in her singing and use it in our singing to make it better, whether we're singing this song or another Streisand song or a different genre of music completely, because it's a great vocal performance and we can always learn from watching great vocal performers. So, and I've got notes. I've got color-coded notes. So let's explore this together and see if we can improve from it. Here we go. Gonna press play.
Oh, my man, I love him so. You never know.
Okay, so one of the first things I want to talk about throughout this video, but it just came up there, is her mouth is moving so much to create these really nice dynamic lines and also really nice smooth changes in tone. Like the so there, she didn't go, oh my man, I love him so. It was a real sort of delicate bending of the O shape, which made it really like sumptuous sounding. So it was, oh my man, I love him so. And then it went right down to almost like a siren at the end. And this is going to happen so many times in the song, and it just gives a really nice intimate atmosphere, I think.
All my life is just a spell, but I don't care when he takes me in his arms.
She did it there again on arms. When he takes me in his arms. It wasn't just arms, it was arms. It was sort of like a crescendo, then a diminuendo, and it had like a lot of movement behind it. Now, I probably wouldn't tell people to start off singing that way because you want to like make sure you've got a good grasp of like singing a constant vowel before you start playing around with it. But if you're at the point where you think, you know, I can hold a nice vowel sound, you might want to start like putting these sort of little effects in. I think they just create a really like a nice atmosphere. Yeah, let's carry on.
The world is bright, oh, bright.
Okay, another good thing that she does in this song, which it literally took me about 10 years to figure this out in my own singing. So I'm going to let you in on a bit of wisdom. Oh, you might already know this wisdom. I might just be slow. She does not choose placement out of necessity. She chooses it out of artistry. Now, what does that mean? What that means is she doesn't just go into head voice because she has to. And she doesn't stay in chest voice because she has to. She chooses these things out of how it's going to fit the song rather than, well, I can belt it, so I'm going to. And she just did it there in that line. She did it at the beginning as well when she did, he'll never know. It was like a very delicate head voicey sound, but she could have easily gone, he'll never know. But I think the head voicey switch there just made it sound so much more fragile and really fitted the like tender moment of the song. And when she just did it on, the world is bright, alright, it just sounded so much more in keeping with the sort of really sad, reflective nature of the song. So I think and I wish I'd have cottoned onto that sooner because A, you'll save your voice, and B, it's much more effective to save bigger moments and use them sparingly.
What's the difference if I say I'll go away when I know I'll come back on my knees someday? For whatever my man is, I am his forevermore.
I just noticed on this as well, her mouth shape is always tending to go more downward rather than out wide. A lot of people tend to want to go out wide too soon. If you can, you want to relax and go downward. It gets a much more natural chest voicey sound. In this next section we're about to hear, I just want to do a quick segue and talk about this like pose that she's going to do that's like this. I think it looks like very like business bitch, powerful. I quite like it. I mean, if I stood singing like this, I'd feel really stupid, but it just looks right. I don't know why. Yeah, it looks very like matter of fact. And she's standing up really like statuesquely, and it looks really good. I don't know. This next section, she's going to go a lot harder into the chest voice. She's going to sing a lot more strongly, and she's really going to drop that jaw down. So let's watch out for that now.
It cost me a lot, but there's one thing that I've got, it's my man.
Yeah. One thing that I've got. Yeah, so she's really dropping it down there.
But all that I soon forget with my man.
Did you notice there that the siren came back in? One thing that I got, it's my man. She almost put an M on the end of that. It came right down to these sirens. And I've never really noticed another singer that does this as much as she did, because she does it in all of her songs. I've watched a lot of them. She comes back to that siren so often. And maybe it just helps her get all the notes in like a really nice place when they start and end. But yeah, it's a really good technique. If you're not sure of how to sing a note, sometimes I start from a siren and then open it up. So like a can help it to sort of form more naturally. So that's a good way to practice as well.
He's not much for looks and no hero out of books is my man.
Okay, so we went slightly higher then. We went, is my man. So the top note there was C5. So that's where you that's definitely where my sort of changeover happens into more of a head voicey sound. And what she's doing there, you can hear it sort of goes a little bit more into head voice. She's not forcing it to stay into chest voice because it's going to be too heavy and it's not going to sound balanced. So she's sort of switching there, which is very good. And if you're a chest voice puller, which I am, I'm such a chest voice puller. I pull up chest voice too high and it gets me into all sorts of trouble in songs. But I think I've got out of the habit of doing that now. But it's just really important to remember you don't always have to be fully in chest voice. So I think that's a really clever strategy, what she does there, just lightening a little bit. Is my man. I would say I even pulled it a little bit too much then. Is my man. Probably a bit better. That I try not to let it get too heavy.
2 or 3 girls has he that he likes as well as me. But I love.
Okay, the delivery of that line, I am obsessed with. I feel like we should rewind it. Let's rewind it. I love that bit.
2 or 3 girls has he that he likes as well as me. But I love him.
I'm no right singer. I love singing. I love singing. But out of the whole song, that's like my favourite little bit. So it's showing you that it's like the delivery of it. She gets across so much in that line. And it's not a big 2 or 3 girls has he. It's very much more delicate, like we talked about at the beginning, using head voice artistically to sort of get your point across. I'm obsessed with that bit. I love it.
Oh my man, I love him so. He'll never know all my life is just despair, but I don't care.
I love that. Now we're getting into the big bits. The pinnacle of the song is coming up in a moment, and that's going to be like the biggest bit of the song. But that bit there, the lead up. Oh my man, I love him so. He'll never know. Pulled up chest voice a little bit too much there, but the na of never know gave her a really good jumping off point. She sort of really bounced on it. He'll never know. That was better. Rather than going nah, she didn't let the air get too. She didn't let it get too breathy. She kind of sort of bounced on that nah. That's the best way I can explain it. She sort of bounced on the nah to sort of.
When he takes me in his arms, the world is bright, alright.
Yeah, it just sounds great. The next bit, she's going to sing, what's the difference if I say? And she's going to sort of try to get back into chest voice. And she, instead of I, she says ah, or kind of a which helps her to get back into that more strong chest voice after she's sort of done a really good mix there. So here we go. Yeah, let's just listen to it again. So I can be proved right. Ah.
What's the difference if I say away? When I know I'll come back home someday. Whatever my man is, I am his
Whew. Amazing performance. Obviously, I'm not as good as Barbra Streisand. You're probably not as good as Barbra Streisand. Not many people are. And from interviews I've seen, her first her first ambition was not to be a singer, it was to be an actress. But she just always had this natural voice, naturally good voice. And some people are naturally better singers than other people. You can learn and you can improve, definitely, but some people do just have a certain amount of skill naturally. She has fantastic instincts for how to use her voice in a way that technically makes sense and in a way that artistically makes sense as well. So the main takeaways I would say from that song: make sure you do not pull your chest voice up too high. Practice slightly trying to mix some of your head voice in. That's very difficult to do. There are some amazing videos about it, actually. Sam Johnson is a fantastic singing coach YouTuber. He has a very good video on body mapping and mixing. And comment below if you want me to do a video on how I've developed my mix. It's still not perfect. It's definitely not as good as Barbra Streisand's, but it can be done. So mixing your chest voice. Second one, using dynamics, really shaping your words with care to create nice tone and nice sound. The third one, I would say, switching up your use of placement to fit the song rather than just trying to show off all the time about how high you can belt. Those would be my 3 main takeaways. I love this piece. It's one of my favorites. I might doing a recording of it, so comment down below if you want me to do a version of it for you. But yeah, love it. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, so the next song we're going to be talking about is People. Also a number from Funny Girl. This is a later recording. This is about 80s, 90s. So it's a good 15, 20 years later, and she still sounds immaculate. This song's very tricky. It's got a big range. It's got some high, big notes. And it's got some really long phrases. In this song, the things I think she does really well that we can learn from. It's a masterclass in dynamics and growing a song. Barbra Streisand she has a big voice, but she's not like an Aretha Franklin sort of big sort of gospel voice. But the way she sort of creates performances is that she knows sort of the arc of the song. She knows where she wants it to peak, and she knows where she wants it to sort of be more subdued and quiet. So that creates like a nice upwards and down sort of peaks and troughs, which makes it much better to listen to than somebody trying to maintain a big or a small all the way through. So dynamics, and also she gets down really low. She uses her really low register in this piece, which I think is also good. So let's have a little listen.
People who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Okay, so you can already see that we're starting very small. People. That takes a lot of confidence as a singer. Some really good advice a singing teacher once gave me is don't prove yourself on every note. And I always tried to do that, but it doesn't make a good performance. If you can have the guts to really bring it down, let the audience come to you, it's much more effective in my opinion. So it's people, she starts very small, and then she's got to go up to this, that note up there. Are the luckiest people. But she doesn't go, I think actually I was probably too loud there. She doesn't go for it fully yet. She sort of keeps it quite light, but it's still a step up. This song is essentially in 3 sections. In each section, she sort of brings it up a notch, that people bit. So you can notice that as we go along. Let's carry on. Nice little shot of Robin Williams there. So cute, listen.
We're children.
Now she's back down to being super quiet.
The children. And yet letting our grow.
She's still got that nice open relaxed jaw like from the last one.
Hide all the inside, acting more like children than children.
Okay, in this next section coming up, this is like the second time through the piece. She's gonna go, so she's gonna go from C to E flat, lovers, and that is a really difficult jump. Lovers. I think the best way to get that note sounding good, you got to really support it, obviously, but sort of if you make your mouth slightly smaller, I think it comes out clearer. So I'll show you. Lovers, I think sounds better than lovers. If I let it drop too much, it's going to go to the back of my throat. It's not going to sound as good, but that's a really good one to practice, that little jump there. Very tricky.
Lovers are very special.
Just again, people.
They're the luckiest people in the world.
Okay, so not only is she giving us that really low note there, she's deciding that's not enough. I want to decorate this really tricky phrase. And if you listen carefully, she is putting subtly the vowel on there. People, I think it's more of an in the world. She's going for more of an there on that. And is a really good vowel for singing kind of strong on or air. Is sometimes a bit better than like an A or an R. So that's quite clever, but that's a good little twiddle there. That's makes it a lot trickier. But again, she's got a nice relaxed jaw and face there.
With one person.
And now she's going to bring it right down again, just to like keep the audience interested, keep them on their toes.
One very special person. A feeling deep in your soul. Says you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger.
It's coming up. It's starting to get louder.
First be a person who needs people. People who need people. Are the luckiest people.
I'm convinced there that she's saying peeper. And that's how she gets that really strong peeper. So peeper, like P-E-P-E-R spelling. And that might be a good way, that sound, to get a little bit more strength on that, especially on the third time round where she really goes for it. Say peeper. Peeper.
Special person, no more hunger and
Thirst. Low note as well.
First be a person who needs people. People who need people.
I've seen her do it before where she comes right down here as well, where she goes from really loud to really quiet. I kind of wish she did that here, but she goes for a more big ending. She got another there. Whoa! It was like a that she added on to the end of that, which helped it sort of maintain its chest voice resonance. She looks so good in white. I look terrible in white. This guy's not clapping enough. Let's rewind to him. How dare you? The level of disrespect. Let's rewind to this guy. Who do you think you are? Clap. Outrageous. Okay, so those are my breakdown of my 2 favourite videos. Now the third video is going to be me performing People. So thanks for sticking around if you've made it to this bit of the video. I hope you've got some good tips and things from this analysis that you can use in your own singing. And here's my video. Enjoy. people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. The children needing other children, and yet letting a grown-up hide all the need inside, acting more like children. Lovers, very special people. They're the luckiest people in the world. With one person, one very special person, a feeling deep in your soul says you are half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst, but first be a person who needs people. One very special person, a feeling deep in your soul says you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst, but first be a person who needs